You say you're afraid to be perceived, but what does that really mean? Are you afraid of being seen, or are you afraid of being seen wrong? Because when someone sees a version of you that doesn't match who you believe yourself to be, it can feel like a loss of control. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to make peace with perception. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast, the podcast for late identified autistic adults who want real relationships without fake masks. Let's talk connection, clarity, and showing up as your authentic self. Today, we're going to explore what it really means to be perceived, why it feels so uncomfortable, and how to make it less about fear and more about understanding. Let's start off with perception itself. Perception is an interpretation and it is not truth. And I'd like to define what truth is because I don't want to get mixed up in what other people think what truth is. But for this podcast, for my belief about truth is how you feel about your experiences, regardless of what other people say, think, feel, or do. It is your truth. Everybody has their own truth because everyone has their own experiences. So if you think that the sky is green and everybody else thinks it's blue, well, the truth for you is that the sky is green. That's it. How you feel about your experiences, if people think that you're overreacting and that you're being unreasonable, but how you feel about it is not, you're not being unreasonable, you're not overreacting. You have a right to be angry. You have a right to behave the way you feel. You believe that it's valid. That's your truth. That's your truth. And everyone has their own. Everyone has their own. So to be perceived means that someone else has formed an image of you. It means that they have their truth about how you are, regardless of what you think, regardless of what you feel. They have their own truth, and it's about you. That image that they have isn't you exactly. It's a reflection shaped by their own experiences, by their own values, and by their own stories. I want you to think of it as looking in 1,000 different mirrors. And everyone's warped. All of the mirrors are warped and they're slightly different. It's like going through a fun house where it distorts who you are. That's their version of you. None of those mirrors can reflect you perfectly. It's impossible because you are uniquely you. There is no one like you. There is no one having your exact experience as you are. Here's an example of how people kind of have their own filters of reality and their own perceptions of you. Let's say you're in a group chat and you tell a story and someone calls you dramatic. That's their perception. Another one laughs, says, "You're hilarious." Same story. Two completely different perceptions. Neither of them are wrong. They're just reflections through different mirrors. So now, knowing that, why does it feel so bad to be perceived? It's just somebody else's view of who you are. Well, it's likely that you've spent years masking. You've learned to manage other people's perceptions. You try to control how you're seen so that you don't risk rejection. From my own personal experience, I've done this for decades. I didn't want to be alone, so I had to control how people responded to me. It showed up in the form of people pleasing. It showed up in the form of not sharing my feelings because I didn't want to give anybody an opportunity to say I'm bad and I'm wrong or I'm useless and then just toss me out, send me out to the wolves where I'd be alone all by myself for eternity. Someone out there with the wolves somewhere. But I didn't want that to happen, and I would do everything I can to control their perception. But the truth is, you can't control their perception. You can only clarify your understanding of it and use it to your advantage. Understanding how other people see you is very powerful and important to making real connections with other people. It's not how you want them to see you, it's recognizing how they actually do see you. So let's talk about removing that fear, because the fear of being rejected keeps you from being your authentic self, which keeps you performing so that you can control their perception of you. And you don't really get to know their perception because you're under this pretense that you have control over it. So they never get to be authentic with you either. And you want authenticity, so you have to allow it to be. Now, here's a quick example of how knowing someone else's perception can be very helpful to you without clouding it with your own feelings and your own experiences, right? So imagine you're at work and you're speaking boldly and directly in a meeting. You're like, say it with your chest. And someone later says, you were too blunt. Now, in the past, before you really worked on your perception of yourself, you might have felt shame. Oh no, I upset somebody. But if you know that they are not attacking your character, you are not bad and wrong, they're simply telling you what their experience was of you, you can make an adjustment if you so desire. You don't have to take it to heart in the sense that it's an attack on you as a person and you must change everything about you because you don't want to upset that person. But you're at work and you recognize that this person values softer communication. If you so desire, you can speak softer. If you so desire, you can have a conversation with them to see how they prefer that you communicate with them. And that will boost your relationship. That will make your relationship better. It's not about performing for them. It's just about making sure that you get your point across in a way that other people can understand, especially because you value this relationship. And that applies to work, family, friends. You want to know how you are impacting them, so that if you're doing some harm for your friends, for example, then you can not do the harmful thing because you didn't become attacked when they told you that you did something that was hurtful to them. You were curious. You took responsibility. You weren't afraid of their perception of you being quote unquote wrong. There's another interesting thing that I found about perception is that when people perceive you as wonderful and you have a negative self-perception, compliments, they bounce right off. If someone calls you kind, your brain says, you don't know me. If someone says you're smart, you think they must be exaggerating. You can't trust positive perception when your inner story says you're unworthy. So what do we do with this information? Well, I'm a big fan of having congruency in my life, which means that if I believe on the inside that I'm fun, interesting, and exciting, I'm going to express that fun, interesting, and excitement to other people. And those people in my life will reflect that back. So if I say, hey, let's play some board games, because I like board games. Let's play some board games. And I express that to the people in my life with excitement and joy. They are going to reflect it right back to me. It's congruent. How I feel on the inside, I express on the outside. And the people around me reflect back that joy right to me. Congruency. That's what we're looking for. So if you believe on the inside that you are awkward and you are analytical and people don't like you, and you express your awkwardness and analytical mind outward, and the people around you say, oh, That's really interesting and fun. I like that. I like the awkward and analytical piece. There is something that is not congruent. Do you believe that awkwardness and analytical piece of yourself is dumb, it's boring, it's uninteresting, people don't like you? But when you express it, people are drawn to it. One of those three things are mixed up. And so you would feel like you don't want to be seen. You wouldn't believe those people who are excited to talk to you. It's incongruent. Not all three match. So if you are struggling on the inside and you believe in your heart of hearts that you are awkward and you do not deserve friends, you do not deserve people to be around you, but lo and behold, when you express yourself, people come because they're excited and they like you, that's your work to do. That is definitely your work to do. And the way I like to handle this imposter syndrome, the self-doubt, is to get curious about why people do like me. I like to understand where they're coming from and what they really get out of being with me. That was really helpful in my journey. Being able to not make up their minds for them, not accuse them of being liars. It was my work to figure out why I don't believe them. And that's what led me to do the work that I'm doing today as a social connections coach, helping others make those meaningful relationships, helping others to understand what they're really feeling versus their perception and versus what other people are really thinking and feeling, and how the expression of it needs to be congruent so that you can feel comfortable around the people that you're with. And we do this in a 12-week coaching course. So we either do it VIP, one-on-one VIP, where I walk you through the steps, or we can do group coaching, which is coming up very soon. It's 10/29. We're going to start the cohort of just 4 people. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But don't wait. If you wanted to apply, don't wait. Apply now, because the doors are closing soon. You'll have to wait until next year to get in on this. And the holidays are coming they're coming. The holidays are coming. And wouldn't it be nice to be able to practice learning about perception and how to handle these situations with family members? So you can go to patternsofpossibility.com and sign up for group coaching, apply for group coaching, and then I'll reach out to you and we'll have a conversation to see if you're a good fit for this, because we want to make sure that everyone feels safe, and we want only people who are ready to make this change. To get in on this, go to patternsofpossibility.com and sign up for group coaching right there. Now that you've recognized your fear around perception, you can take this information and remove the fear. You can remove the fear and just receive it as information about people's experiences with you. If someone sees you as unfriendly and you know you're simply introverted or you're focused, that feedback does not sting. It informs you. They're telling you who they are and how they perceive you. It tells you about their lens. They're not a direct reflection of you because they are not you. They're talking about themselves. They're not talking about their value, your value. So when you encounter these kind of situations, you can stay curious instead of folding in fear. Oh no, they don't like me. They see me as unfriendly. You don't even have to get mad at them. Why are you so judgmental? Because I'm unfriendly? You don't need to do that either. Because you're unaffected by their observation or their perception of you. You just simply know that's their experience. You can get curious if you'd like to get close. You can think, oh, what are they seeing that makes them think that? You don't need to get defensive. What is their experience? What have they gone through? Interesting. And you can have conversations about it. But their perception of you does not control you anymore. With that being said, you also know that you can't control their perception of you. You just be and let the world respond. The key is, and the real power, is knowing that the world will respond differently. Everyone will respond differently because there are 8 billion people on this planet with 8 billion different experiences, and up means down to some people and down means up to some people, and green is blue and blue is green. It's different for other people, and when they see you, they might react. It's their perception. It's not your worth. It's not your value. It's none of that. It's just good information. It's just good information. You will always be perceived. The question is, will you let that perception define you or inform you? If this episode resonated with you, the best way to support the podcast is to rate and review it. Your words will help other late diagnosed autistic adults find this space to know that they're not alone. Just a few seconds from you can open up the door for someone else to feel seen. Hey, I appreciate you, and thanks for being here.